Well, hi there. Yes, it is Pastor Bob in pajamas. Just chilling out as the sun goes down on a... It's refreshing now that it's only 80 degrees on my porch at Pastor Bob's semi-rural place of peace, also known as my front porch of my trailer. Always drinking coffee, always talking to God on your behalf because I love you, bro, and telling you about Jesus. And today, it all connects to Jesus. Exodus chapter 4, verses 1 to 5. Moses had just seen God, heard God in the burning bush, where he said, I'm going to send you to Pharaoh. And then it's that whole thing, let my people go. And Moses is like, no, I don't think so. And God says, what is that in your hand? Redneck version, he would have said a piece of PVC pipe. But in the biblical account, he said a staff. And he said, throw it on the ground. And he did. Look, here it goes. And then it turned into a snake. And it's always funny to me, 1981, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, why's it gotta be snakes? A real snake, and I probably would have ran from like a poisonous snake as well. But God said, hey, pick that back up. And the snake turned back into a staff. And this was one of a handful of signs and wonders, if you will, that Moses was supposed to display in front of Pharaoh and God's people to show, yes, I've spoken with God, and yes, God is with me. Let my people go. But Moses was like, no, send somebody else. And he said that a number of times, and God got mad. And I'm just like, that whole time thinking, if that was God talking to me, I would go. Or at least say, yeah, I'm on board with that. And maybe, have a story later about why I couldn't go. I mean, we do that all the time, right? We get saved. We, talk a big game. We talk about how great God is. We sing songs. We pray, go to church and all that. And it's like, but that whole thing about, God put us all on mission together. And you say, yeah, maybe someone else can go. But I'm back to the whole thing of, this is not clearly the sermon in 60 seconds. What is in your hand? And you might say, well, maybe it's not a staff, but it's car keys. It's like, can God use you in them car keys? What do you mean? I was talking to a guy who kind of like drives everyone around, being a taxi for folks. And I said, you could be praying for folks during those car rides. And his eyes lit up and he said, you're right. I had somebody that I met downtown who said, hey, Pastor Bob, you got a truck, right? I'm currently borrowing one. But you know how that conversation goes. They just don't want to see your wheels. They want you to move something. And in a few weeks, I may move a mattress. But during that time, we could talk about how much God loves people. But when we show them how God loves people, and it may be just me showing up with the truck and moving a mattress. And I'm sure all of us know how to use a phone and have talked on the phone to speak to somebody. Do you realize you can pray with folks on the phone and never have to leave your house? How great is that? You could be the next coordinator of our prayer chain. Pray about it. God can use you. God will use you if you're available and allow Him to work through your life. God is in the business of taking ordinary people and doing extraordinary things. Admittedly, God admitted to Moses, "You're right, you're a nobody, but I can take nobody and make you a somebody," as we share about somebody special, and that's God in our life. Well, that was about 4 minutes, so I owe you a quick few sermons in 60 seconds. I love you, and I pray that as you roll into Monday, next week. Bye now. Peace.